Hey, welcome to another video. Thanks for joining me in this one. In this video, my goal is to share with you a stock that I've been looking at lately, and that is because with the stock market, we know that it's been very volatile. We know that it's been very unpredictable. And of course, our goal is not necessarily to predict, but our goal is to be able to invest in things that will pay us over time, whether through capital appreciation or through dividends, and of course, be able to grow wealth in that way. Now, if you're new here, my name is Stephen Ojo, and on this channel, we'll talk about finance and investing. And of course, if you're interested in that, consider subscribing, and don't forget to please like this video. If you can do that right now, that would be much appreciated. So let's get into the video. Now, the stock that I'm looking at is Nike. If you guys know Nike, and if you own a Nike shoes, clothes, or whatever you may own that's from Nike, you should definitely have their stock. Now, this is the company that I've invested in the past. I've traded out of it, but then I, of course, would often invest in through index funds, and get into Nike as well, because a lot of index companies, or at least funds, do invest in Nike. Now, when it comes to investing directly in single stocks, one thing you need to understand is there's going to be a lot more risk involved and a little bit more volatility involved as well. And that is why when you're considering investing in single stocks, you should be willing to hold on when the prices also go down, and actually dollar cost average as much as you can. Nike, they make clothes, shoes, and apparels and so forth. And currently the stock price sits around $124 as at the recording of this video. In the past 5 years, the stock is up around 83%, up about $56. In the past 1 year, it is down almost 10%. And in the past 6 months, it is up 10%, up about $11.68. What has been going on, and why am I actually bringing this up now? Because as we know, the market has just been very sketchy lately. One big factor, of course, is the interest rates and the fear of this recession that they keep talking about. And in as much as this is true, one thing you need to understand is that when it comes to investing, you have to find opportunities even when people are fearful. Okay, so you need to look at what is working for you. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just me sharing what I think and sharing my own opinion. So I hope that you would get something from it. Let's look at Nike real quick. Nike currently sits at a market cap of around 193 billion with a PE ratio of about 35.26x. Their last report of their earnings and from the last earnings report for Q2 2023, their cash and short-term investments as at Q2 is 10.6, not their earnings, by the way, 10.6 billion. And as we can see, their cash position remains solid. This has remained above. The minimum here is about 10.6 billion, and this is in a situation or in a market that we considered a recession. By the way, remember, this whole recession has been ongoing since early last year, pretty much. All right, that they've been talking about, and here we are. This company is still looking solid. Of course, it's been going down gradually, but again, the company is finding ways to report better, which I'm going to get to that when it comes to their earnings itself. The total assets sit currently at 39.6 billion. It was about 38. It went up to about 41, and it's back to about 39. That is looking more like a stable company. When we look at their liabilities, which liabilities are things that we always want to watch for when it comes to how much they have and how much they are owing. All right, so in this case, currently the current liabilities, which the accrued expenses over time, has gradually been going up. Not bad, not significantly up, but of course it's something that we want to keep watching over time. Long-term debt sits around 8.9 billion, which is not crazy, especially considering it's been stable over time. That is not a factor to really worry about at this point. Currently, the shareholders' equity. Now, the reason why shareholders' equity can become important is to see what the people that actually hold or have equity in this company. So if you look at the total equity right now, is about 15.2 billion. And as we can see, this equity has actually remained really quite stable without much fluctuations and changes, which also means that, the company is being held on because people believe in it. All right. So we're getting to the real numbers now. We can see the revenue. The total revenue for the Q2 of 2023 was 13.3 billion. And as we can also look, that has actually been the highest in the past 3 reports or 4 reports that they've given. And that is interesting because, again, like I mentioned, this is supposed to be a time of recession, but this is when this company is actually pulling in more money. Why? Because they are finding ways to cut costs and, of course, finding ways to generate revenue. But how are other companies looking into this Nike stock? How are other investment groups looking into Nike stock? One of them is Vanguard. Recently, they made a purchase of, and this is through the SEC filings. They made a purchase of Nike stock. So there's something they must be seeing. There must be something going on that maybe we need to be aware of. The second company, which by the way, that was from Vanguard that did that purchase, all right? And the next one is BlackRock. As you can see, BlackRock also is taking more stake in Nike. There must be something that is going on that we need to pay attention to. And I hope that by sharing this with you, you're seeing the value. Now, according to analyst ratings, they're giving a peak of around 156 with it, and the lowest rating was around $96 with a mid-range of $130. And even at the mid-range, as you can see, that we are still trading well below that price, currently at $124. So, being able to make around $6 or so on a share is pretty significant if assuming it goes to, say, 130. So that's not really a bad deal in my opinion, with a lot of strong buy as well. There's something I also want to share with you. There's something that Nike does well, which is publicity, which is pretty much be able to draw the attention of the public to their brand. And as we know, or as you may know, or if you do not know, there is a movie coming out about Nike, and I think it's called Air, and I think it's in relation to Air Jordan. And I think this is something that will bring a lot of attention into the brand again and shine a lot of light into how the company sees its brand and how they actually help to cater to make sure that that brand remains well received by a lot of people. And in my opinion, that is something that the company does. Think about Apple, think about Google. These are brands that, if they're well represented when it comes to how people perceive them, how people see them. And with Nike, it's almost like a lot of people are very, I don't know what word to use now, maybe they're well in love with this brand. A lot of people are well in love with this brand, and I think they will continue to be profitable and grow. The other thing I want to mention is this. With consumer spending being higher for the month of January, you also need to make a connection. When it comes to the first month of the year, a lot of sporting companies tend to report higher numbers in sales. Why? Because that's the first month of the year where a lot of people end up making commitments to maybe fitness or to just becoming better when it comes to their well-being. And that often translates into them spending more money on things that they would need to achieve that, like shoes, running shoes, for example, or exercise, gym clothes, things of that nature. These are things that people will spend money on. And of course, Nike has created a brand that fits well when people think about clothing to wear for running or shoes to wear for running. Things like that would really translate into their earnings. So their next earning is coming up, I believe, is March 20. And I'm actually looking forward to that. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about this Nike stock. If you're buying, if you're selling, and of course, like I said, this is not financial advice. This is just to share my own opinion. I hope you find value in this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment section below.